April 16. Hello there. Yes, you. Grab a coffee and let's get smarter together. Yesterday we witnessed the invention of coinage in front of a backdrop of generalized violence and saw how it gave rise to impersonal markets. It's a chain of logical steps that leads there. To repeat, urban civilizations with an emphasis on standardization, exploitation of existing knowledge over exploration for new solutions, produced a counter-reaction of people who felt strongly that they should be exempt from manual, that is standardized work. The societies they founded were called heroic societies and could only exist because the founders, the heroic figures, gathered retainers around them who acknowledged their uniqueness as well as slaves who enabled their uber-exploration. Fierce competitions for retainers between the founders meant they had to outdo each other, with ever more elaborate feasts and contests, ever more unique items, and over-the-top adventures. Solomon, in the story with the ants, for example, is represented as the owner of a coat that's miles long and can carry him and thousands of his retainers on the wind to faraway places to explore. While this coat didn't exist, at least we think it didn't, it illustrates to what over-the-top measures the founders soon had to go. Adventures, which doubled as hunts for more slaves to secure the lifestyle of uber-exploring, turned into military campaigns. Found with professional trained soldiers who expected to be cared for and paid. Imagine that. An itinerary soldier has no need for a field woe, nor can he weigh himself down with lots of goods. On the other hand, the heroic figure at the top couldn't employ just as many people to tend to the needs of the soldiers who procured food and so on as he employed soldiers. So the heroic figures allowed their soldiers to share of the loot, what along with food, drinks and women meant mostly precious metals and stones. Before coinage, these precious metals and stones took the shape of jewelry and heirloom chalices presented by competing heroic figures, soon called kings, to their retainers, and it was simply stockpiled in temples in ingot form as surety for loans. Once redistributed, were heavily armed itinerant soldiers in service of a competing heroic figure / king, who sought to please his retainers by campaigning against other such heroic figures / kings, then sought a way to trade it. Let's be real though. In a credit economy based on trust and many layers of personal motives, these soldiers are the definition of bad credit. So the heroic figures at the top turned the precious metals into coinage by imprinting their heads on pieces, gave those coins to the soldiers and incentivized, or shall we say forced, the general population in the territories they had just conquered to accept these coins and transactions by telling them that they must pay taxes to them and must pay them in these coins. Et voilà! We have an impersonal market that encouraged a certain habit of rational calculation of measuring input and output, means and ends. It's a mindset. Of course, taxes were put only on conquered people, those who'd been lucky enough not to be outright turned into slaves. Original retainers, over time called free citizens, were given their share of the loot in exchange of continued support, keeping their ability to retain a more natural explorer-exploit balance alive. It's called fiscal policy. For example, their children were free to spend much of their time trying on personalities, training for war, and then leading the professional soldiers into the next generation's promised adventures. Or into death by slavery, when they were on the losing side. Let me dedicate here at the end of this short story of a rise of impersonal markets some thoughts to the standard claim that the rise of urban civilizations enabled the beginning of culture and science. Yes. As just shown, it did lead to a small group of people with expectation to be treated as uber explorers whose whole life circled around novelty and uniqueness, which they were supposed to procure, create, whatever. As the greatest benefit for all can be made when a permission structure, a sharing regime exists that enables all people to explore and fail far more often when they engage in exploitation of existing knowledge, this isn't progress. And Uber-explorers depend on everyone else being more or exclusively exploiters. But that's a tale for another day. For now, step into your ride and explore, as known as think. Make a habit out of thinking. Let's turn thinking into a movement again. Like, comment, share, and follow, lest you miss a single opportunity to improve yourself and society. And just like that, coffee break is over. Have a great day.